Hello guys, the next part I want to talk about 10 of favorites for work in my major animation. And the first one I want to talk is my favorite work in the Chinese animation, and the name is The Legend of Qin, and he was created by the Robinson. Is it right? Yeah, it's the Robinson, and it created by the 2007 years. And the next is the Japanese animation. This was the digital master, and it was not the first time. It was not animation. It was a game and become animation. So I'm not sure about who is his artist. And the next is also the Chinese animation. It was come from the very famous novel in Chinese. The novel is called the Journal to the West, and it was cut from the novel story from a little story. And the next is the Gary Bridge brother, and it also comes from the Chinese. And the next I want to show about the very important animation in American history. And the first one is the Enchanted Drawing, and the second one is the second one is Humorist Perhaps a Funny Face. What I put together because they was both the same artist. The artist is called the journalist. The artist is called the journalist Street Breton, and it was in the 19th century human, and the first draw is created by the 1900 year, and the second was created by the 1909. Oh no, it's created by the 1096 year. And the next I want to show is it's also the oldest, very earliest animation in the world, and this was the Gender the Dinosaur. It was very single line, but it's the first animation in American history. I will tell later. And this was the same artist with this one, and this one is called Little Nemo, and the artist was called Miso Mickey. And the next is very famous novel in the world, but it was not from the German. This story, not from Denmark, and animation was created by the American. It's come from the Disney, and the name is not the same with the Snow White, and this animation is called the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And the next one is the Winnie Pooh. It's called the Winnie the Pooh. Winnie is not the animation when he born the war. It was the manga, and he was the first time was shown in the London Evening. It was come from the England, but chance about the animation in America. And the next part I want to choose forward to ask guys why I choose that and why I love that. This was I told you guys, this was my favorite animation in Chinese animation. Yes, just in the Chinese animation. And why I chose it because he was the first wuxia animation, 3D animation in China, and he was created by the Robinson, and it created by created on the 2007 years, but I need to tell guys this animation is not it's not come from the Robinson. This was come from the Noro and the Noro artist is called the Noro is right from the Shi Ren Wen, is a Taiwan writer, but he was dead for a few years ago, and when he died, the novel is not completed. But after a few years, his family was give the story to the other people to finish that, and the Robinson was create the story to become animation, and it was more perfect. I just feel this animation was more perfect with the Naro, but the Naro is the thing is very important because he was the Naro is this animation father, and just this is really important. I need to tell guys. Yeah, you just see that it was a little light again, but it was animation, and the first half the Naro, the second half the animation, and the first half again. And oh yes, this story is come from the Qing dynasty. It come from the Qing. It was the Asian in China. About 2000 years ago maybe, and he was the China is all come from the history, but the story is different. The story is new, but the human was true in the life. And the next I want to talk about the Enchanted drawing. They was not very popular and not very famous in the world, but I want to show this world because it was very important in American history. I think if you learn to the animation, I think you must know why this drawing is very important in the American history, because this world is he was not the whole animation in the world, but it was very close animation because this animation was used the human standing in front of the background and use the result to draw the human, the fat guys in the background. We cannot call it the whole animation is because the human was inside. And after this one was created by the 1900 years, I just told guys, and this was after the first shot after the 6 years ago, and this was considered the first animation in the American history. The human was missing, was not inside, and just used the white pen to draw the human and just the guy and the lady to make the smoke to become some pose and many pose maybe, and this was the first animation in the world. Actually, it was not very perfect, but it was very big. I mean, very big power inside in the world in history. And that is The next I want to talk about the Chinese animation is the Garbage Brothers. The Garbage Brothers not very famous in the world, but I think almost from my almost come from like looks like I was 22 years old, and when it comes about my this year or just from the 1919 to the no, it's from the 1918 to the 2000 year. I think many people will see that before because this animation was new in the was very new in the was created by the 2000. Oh, I forget which year. This story was very old. It's created by the 1989, but it was just told guys it was the very oldest animation in Chinese, and I just told guys the new animation is the 3D animation. So it just come from about, I think it's close for a few years. Maybe it's before 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And the earliest Garbage Brother was created by the paper animation. It was like the stop motion to use the paper to cut the character and the background and some about the power or the power line or anything. It was all used the paper to make a stop motion to cut for one piece and one piece to become a Garbage Brother animation. It was very oldest in our life, and actually in my primary school life I saw them for many times because at that time he was not an animation. How does it is from the animation but cut from the paper book. It was just a very little paper book and just like a manga but have the color. And we also go to the shop to buy a little book because it have many different and many different story. So we want to correct all the story. We will go to buy many and many. And I remember I spent my money money to buy this book for my primary school from the grade 2 to grade 3. So this was very important in my childhood time. And the next I want to talk is it's the story about the American animation. Oh no, where is my dinosaur? Okay. I want to talk is about this dinosaur. I just told guys it was the same artist with the Little Nemo, and the artist was called the Vincent McCall. And this dinosaur was created by the 1914. And why I chose that because it was it can say is the first animation. The first whole animation is not use the background or you not use the pen, not just know you was true draw in the background, and it was like a very similar to it was the earliest animation in the world, and he drew the big dinosaur and the dinosaur was moved, and it was very like a child, and he was go and just go, and the guys used the hand or the something. I remember have an elephant to walk with the dinosaur, and the elephant go to drink the water, and the dinosaur was sing and crack down. He go to the lake, and he drink the water and drink, and after and the lake was empty, and the dinosaur just like he want to like love, and he need love or some guys to care it. It was not a big point, but it was a very easy animation, but it was very, it's just a big, it's just a big start in the American history. So I just told you it's the same with the enchanted drawing. They also not very famous and not very popular in the animation history, but they was very important in this history. So I want to so guys to know that. Thank you.